hello, and welcome to the Lost Archives. My name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master of this ragtag group of heroes and adventurers.
Hi everybody, I'm Claire. I'm playing Mira, who's a Dragonborn Sorcerer, half red dragon, half silver dragon. Originally was a bit of a politician, and now has joined the adventuring life, probably to a greater extent than she ever expected.
Hi everyone, I'm Michael. I'm playing Lockie, a Warforged Artificer. Originally was part of a flying castle, but I've since left and resumed an adventure with my now friends.
Cool. Hey guys, I'm Jared, and I play the character of Jin. He is a level 6 Law Bard and a level 2 Hexblade Warlock. I'm currently an associate and ally of the Tempest Guild, and I'm helping them in their goal of stopping the Queen of Dragons, Tiamat.
Hello, I'm Ali, and I'm playing Shana, the Yuan-Ti Sorcerer, who is traveling with the Tempest Adventuring Guild, trying to find the other half of her soul, who is hiding somewhere away, far from reach.
Hi guys, I'm Matt, playing Yervith, the sneaky Wood Elf Ranger and Rogue, who, after a tragic incident in the jungle with his previous expedition, has now joined up with this lovely ragtag group of adventurers and is looking to see what happens next.
Hello! Give a wave! Cameras are popping in. Now we can wave. Yay! Hello! It takes a second for the cameras to pop in sometimes.
Shit.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Seconds.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing, everybody? I gave them very little warning. We were in the middle of a really intense chat, and I was like, "Oh, by the way, stream starts in 3 seconds." And then it wasn't even 3 seconds. I think that was even unfair. Sorry, guys. This is revenge for all the times you try and make me laugh right before we start. So, welcome everybody. How you doing? Welcome back to the Lost Archives. My name's Owen. I'm the Dungeon Master. We've got all of our lovely players here with us tonight, except for Jared. Jared has the non-spicy flu original, also just called flu. He's got the flu. He's got the OG flu. So poor boy's tucked in bed with a big old bowl of chicken soup and his Maine Coon to give him cuddles, and he's not coming on tonight. He's too sick. So we will continue on without him. And Jin might die this episode. I don't know. No. Jin will be fine. But yeah, it is a bit weird to be playing without our full cast, but that's okay. We'll soldier on. Jared's not here, but everyone else is, and we're going to have a amazing session tonight.
Oh yeah.
Got some really cool stuff planned. Thank you everybody who came and joined me on Saturday morning for the Assassin's Creed Valhalla stream. Just impromptu, wanted to play a bit of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so I did. That was great. Thank you for joining me. Had loads of fun. So thank you so much for that. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed playing it. We are hopefully / definitely doing Avatar Legends tomorrow night. Unfortunately, we had a lot of last minute dropouts last Thursday. We had people not be able to make it at the very, very last minute, so we didn't end up doing our session, unfortunately. But fingers crossed, we will be going ahead tomorrow night with our guest, Aquatic Archie, who will be rejoining us as his character Aquila. Now, I'm noticing that the gain on my mic is dropping down again. Are you guys hearing that too, or is it just me? No, it sounds okay?
Sounds good.
Great, okay, cool. I set up a little monitoring program to let me know if my mic drops below a certain threshold, and it was giving me little flashes, but I think it's just hypersensitive. I'm just going to tell him to calm right down, calm his farm, and we'll carry on as normal.
Chill out, dude.
Chill out, man. It's all okay. Right, I better do a bit of a recap for last session, and then we are going to dive headfirst into Tyranny of Dragons. Now, I do want to say we are very rapidly approaching the end of the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. These guys are powering through. So before too long, I reckon not going to be too much more these guys are going to be needing to do, because time's ticking away. Things are happening, and there is a timeline of things going on in the background. So every time they do one thing, there's things still happening in the world around them. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But don't fear. We are working on our second campaign already. I have started the workings of it. I have the new theme music ready to go. I've been working on some of the artwork. And I have also written a large chunk of the story variations and changes that we're going to be making. I'm not going to reveal just yet what that second campaign is. We'll have to see as we approach. But I'm hoping all of these lovely people will be rejoining me for campaign 2. I think Yeah,
How's-
everyone's nodding. Yeah, done. Everyone will be back.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the other big things I want to start implementing as well is more frequent guests. I'm hoping that we can have a guest character most sessions and stick around for a couple of sessions with us. So I've designed the overlay with that in mind, the new updated overlay. So get hyped for that, hoping to see lots more guests. 'Cause
Nice.
we know lots of people who play D&D now. It's like a cult. We've brought loads of people on board. They've joined our cult. Now it's time to bring them onto the podcast and introduce them to the Lost Archives.
Oh, you have no idea. It is ridiculous. We have the classes of cultists, like
Yeah.
your little ones.
Oh yeah. Like, in our other campaign that we play,
Yeah.
we have a high school teacher that's now started a D&D club in a high school.
Oh my god, amazing.
We have
That's
me, which
fantastic.
I'm working on starting a D&D, maybe doing a D&D light with my after school care.
Can I recommend Avatar Legends? If you want to play D&D Light, Avatar Legends is where it's at. It's so easy to get into.
That's a good idea. That's
And,
good.
I'll send you the rule book.
Yes, please.
And I'm prescribing D&D for my patients. So, yeah.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great. Yeah. Why have a psychotic break when you can play Dungeons and Dragons?
Exactly.
Exactly. Don't do drugs. Do the other big D.
Exactly. Don't do drugs. Do dice.
Yeah.
That should be our hashtag.
Stay in session, kids. All right. Let me do that's awesome. So it sounds like we're ready to rock and roll.
Oh, yeah.
This is gonna be great. I'm excited, guys. Now I better do a recap, get us back into the action. So the Tempest Adventuring Guild, a group of mercenaries, explorers, and adventurers, has been working to thwart the machinations of a group known as the Order of the Dragon. This cult has been amassing power, wealth, and knowledge in an attempt to perform a ritual which would bring a dark draconic god, Tiamat, into the world. Our story has been following the escapades of some of the members of this group, Mira, Jin, Lockie, Yervith, and Shana, who have travelled to Ciari, the Draconic nation, to work against the cult's actions there. In the last few sessions, the group met with the Council of Oxenfurt, and despite meeting some initial resistance, pulled off some impressive political manoeuvres, namely forcing Lord Neverember, the party's biggest critic, to instead propose and support them as the Alliance representatives to be sent to Veloxur, the Draconic capital of Ciari. The party also learnt the Emerald Enclave, a group of rangers, were being investigated by the Council. As they departed the Council chambers, a representative of the Enclave, an elven man dressed in white wolf fur-clad armour, called Dalen, pulled the party aside to talk. Dalen revealed he has been speaking with an unknown entity he has been calling the Voice of the Wilds. This entity led him to a crystal core left over from the Age of Giants, a core which the party quickly identified as being capable of planar travel. Dalen then revealed the Voice wanted to speak with the party too, however only Yervith was able to connect. The Voice of the Wilds turned out to be Lyra, currently in spirit form and in a demi-plane between Nostea and the Feywilds. It was revealed Lyra had been receiving the help of some Archfey. What they are getting out of this deal, though, kinda remains to be seen, but we know it's a bit sus. With the Emerald Enclave now working to investigate Duke Neverember, the group departed for Ciari. Last session, having spent a bit of downtime, developing skills, working on their goals and aspirations, the party emerged after a 4-5-day airship flight over the broken, desolate sands of the Ciarian Desert, the Ciarian Wastes. While Otalia Carnos, otherwise known as Elia, the Sylvan Dragon ambassador who's been accompanying them, set off to scout ahead and announce their arrival to the city, the group were waylaid somewhat by the arrival of a gold dragon guarding the borders. This gold dragon very quickly attacked upon hearing that the party were planning on traveling with Otalia Carnos, were traveling with Elia, and were planning on arriving in the city of Veloxur. The party were able to fight off the dragon, not defeat it fully, but at least chase it away for the moment. And the gold dragon has disappeared over the horizon, heading back down towards the cragged... Cragged? Is that a word? Jagged, jagged, crag-ridden... Cragged.
I'll allow it.
I'm sticking... You're allowed? Okay, great. All
I'll
right.
allow it.
Thank you, O Lord of
Cragged.
English. Yeah. I'm the dungeon master, but he is the English language master.
Indeed.
Indeed, rather. So the cragged, jagged, broken mountain ranges surrounding the Ciarian wastes. Last session, the very end of last session, Elia arrived back at the ship in her silver dragon form, quickly taking on her silver dragonborn form as she touched down on the deck of the ship. and you had just finished telling her about your uninvited guest to the airship party. Elia sort of looks over at the jagged claw marks over the brow. Wow, my words tonight. The jagged claw marks over the bow of the ship, and the missing effigy of Azure that stood in as the front of the ship, the figurehead of the ship. This effigy of Azure is now missing. Just the legs and feet remain still sort of, and part of the wing still gilded onto the side of the ship. As Elia sort of looks around the deck and goes, "Oh dear, I hope there wasn't much damage to the ship. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that you would be waylaid in such a manner.
It only seems to be cosmetic, but
It's a bit of a bad harbinger, though, and Mira's looking at Azure, the purest of all of us, just like shattered on the bow. It's like, it's not a great welcome.
Yeah.
Yervith is looking at the bow as well, never having met Azure, and it's just like, yeah, he seems like the best of us. I'm really sorry.
You've met Azure. Yervith, you've met Azure a number of times. He's the leader, the leader of the Tempest Guilds.
Was he at the Tempest Guild halls when we were in Oxenford?
He's the half brother of Leosin. He's the twin to Leosin. The one who, like, as welcome, he goes, welcome, Yervith. Welcome aboard. Big handshake. Yes, it's so good to see you. It's excellent. Of course. That's how you would have been greeted by Azure.
I say that less. I say that with more intent than. Still sincere.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. It sounds like it. Sounds like you're being sincere.
Totally. 100%.
Just putting your camera back in the center of screen because you've adjusted your camera.
I have.
Rudely without telling me.
Right.
There you go. Better.
In the course of the thing, just like
as his sit-stand desk gets demonstrated, you just see Matt just disappear below.
Go stealth.
It's so slow. You're so much quicker to just move your own body, mate. It's so unnecessary. Elia sort of looks and goes, I'm sure there'll be shipwrights and mechanics who can repair that when you arrive in Ciari, when you arrive at Veloxer.
We'll have
Won't be greeted like that again, are we?
Well, I really hope not. I did have a bit of a chance to come in and visited the council halls very briefly and connected with some of my contacts there, and it seems the situation in Veloxer is somewhat concerning. I was hoping to speak with all of you before we arrive, give you a bit of a briefing on the situation, and I believe, Yervith, you had some questions. And Mira, you had some questions as well about what's to come.
Well, yes, I think some of that has been answered, which is just looking at the ship.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, a briefing would be good, at least to know the lay of the land.
Indeed. Well, I have some cards ready in my quarters and some maps that I can pull out and give you a bit of a layout of the city, and we can talk through what you need to know. Does that sound?
It's so good. Yes. Should we try and repair the ship? What do you think, Lockie?
Is the plan still to get to the city by foot?
Yes, I think we'll try and land just outside the city. I have a friend who has an estate. We can park the airship there. They manage delivery and supplies of a number of goods. They have an airship dock there. We could dock the airship, hoping to pass off as some sort of trader, and yes, hopefully we can depart there without too much trouble.
That's far more civilized than what I had in mind. I thought we could trek through the desert, but if that's if you're okay with that, so am I.
The Ciari desert is full of much danger. I would not walk across it unless as a last resort, as there was dire need. During the day, temperatures can reach 45, 50 degrees Celsius, and at night drop down below freezing. It is a place of extremes. No shelter, yes, no water. And, a number of life forms there are quite deadly. There are species of giant burrowing scorpion that lie in wait below the sands. Their venom is a powerful neurotoxin. It is a most unpleasant way to die.
Sounds quite pleasant. Well, if that's the case, bring on the estate then.
Yes, I think parking at a vineyard and estate might be a bit nicer, hopefully.
Especially if they have wine.
Yes, indeed. Well, I should warn you, Draconic wine is rather strong for those of you who aren't quite used to it. I know, Mira, you were never much of a drinker.
Well, I've had a couple of nights out with the adventuring crew now, but no.
Oh, that's good to hear. You used to hate all that, what did you call it? Brown nosing?
Oh, yeah, well, yes.
Copper nosing.
Yes.
Yes, I do warn you, be very careful. Draconic wines are, they're named after gemstones, sapphire, ruby, emerald. Sapphire being the least strong, ruby being stronger, and emerald being the strongest. Emerald I don't think is safe for non-draconic people to consume. I believe it has a very worrying effect on their physiology. Perhaps it's best if you stick to sapphire.
Sounds like a plan. Are they actually coloured, those colours? Like,
Oh,
are
yes,
they tell
yes.
apart?
Yes, very, very clearly coloured.
That would be rather confusing otherwise.
And the smells are associated, so sapphire has a very lavender-esque nose to it. The ruby has a very rose-esque scent to it. And the emerald, it's almost like a herbal sort of smell, maybe like a thyme or a basil sort of combination. It's a very specialized flavor, a very an acquired taste. Sorry, I've been a bit sidetracked. Come below deck and let me tell you what you'll need to know for the briefing. Sorry, I got a bit sidetracked. With that, Elia heads below deck.
I kind of side whisper to Shana. I'm just like, she does like a drop or two. That's true.
To be honest, I kind of want to try it. I mean, not now, but maybe on the way home.
Oh, it's quite strong. Well, you're kind of half scale, so maybe it won't affect you as much.
Yeah, I mean, assuming it has more to do with scales than actual physiology, but
Yeah, everyone knows that
it sounds like-
scales are an important part of the alcohol dehydrogenase pathway. It's well known.
I think that's how it works. Yeah.
Mira, what sort of side effects was she getting at with the emerald one? Physiology? That sounds a bit extreme.
Well, it is a draconic drink, so it can give you some draconic side effects.
Yeah, you remember, Mira, one of the events you were at, a delegation of mountain dwarves from Balmir came out to discuss various treasures that had been acquired by a rogue dragon that were of dwarven origin. This has been going on for about 50 years, this dispute, and finally an agreement was made to split the hoard. Some of the items were returned to the dwarves, most were not. And at that feast, before the night before those discussions were to take place, a cask of emerald wine was brought out by the dragon in charge of negotiation, and the dwarves got very drunk very quickly and were belching fire and acid and other elemental effects as a result. And the next morning, the hangovers were so intense, they don't remember most. They didn't remember, you know this, they didn't remember most of the discussions. And so when they arrived back, and the king of dwarves kind of was like, where the fuck's my treasure? Oh, this is all we could negotiate. Oh, just please stop talking so loudly. And this was sort of part of your early political tutelage. You know that was a deliberate move, 100%.
Mm-hmm. I kind of, on the way downstairs, I regaled the story exactly like that.
Elia sort of turns around and nods and goes, yes, that was a rather clever move. Secured a vast amount of treasure. Otherwise would have had to have been handed back. I believe a large collection of the largest moonstones ever to be recovered are still in our hoard, still in our treasury as a result of that.
It was a fine move.
It's not, look, no one forced the dwarves to drink that much. Did we know they would? Yes. They're dwarves. Did we warn them about the dangers of emerald wine? We might have mentioned it in passing.
So simple yet so effective.
That's politics, my friend. Right,
I guess
so
we're gonna not bring that up when trying to secure the dwarf's help against our plight.
They don't remember it. It's fine.
Mira, you know for a fact that this is still a sore point for a number of dwarves, and this is an ongoing effect. Like, this is still ongoing, affecting the relationship between the mountain dwarves of Balmir and the dragons of Ciari. You know that this is still. There's still a bit of a. It's good natured, but there is an undercurrent there that, yeah, is still like, so you still stole shit from us, dragons. At some point, we would like it back. As you head below deck, Elia quickly rushes off to her room and then comes back and unrolls a series of scrolls. The first one that she unrolls across the dining table is a large layout of the city of Veluxur. Mira, you know Veluxur quite well, although this map is much more recent than the last time you were there. You can see the city has expanded. Veluxur is built in a series of tiered walls. Mira, the last time you were there were only 3. A 4th wall and 5th district has been added to the city since you were last there. It has grown quite substantially. Yeah. And the network of irrigation tunnels that are required to keep the farmland around the city operating. You know that a number of the farmlands are reliant upon a massive collection of water deep below the earth that is pumped up and provided through these almost like Roman Empire-esque irrigation canals that are partly covered over to protect from evaporation, but this series of canals and networks that join the city, and aqueducts is the word I was looking for, Roman aqueducts that connect the city, and the walls are built along these and around these. You can see that the aqueducts have expanded further as well, and a second pump has been placed right in the center of the city to help keep that water flowing. That's probably the main change you would notice straight away. Any more subtle changes will require some rolls, perception or investigation rolls. But yeah, Elia unfurls the city. You can see these like series of districts that sort of tear out from the side of a mountain, almost a little bit like Minas Tirith for the Lord of the Rings fans. But rather than being so vertical, it's much more horizontal. The city's spread out over a larger area. And as she begins sort of talking through and pointing out some districts, the names kind of fly by a little bit. She talks about Broken Tooth, the Red Scale District, all these sort of areas that don't really mean much to you guys at this point yet. But the main one that she focuses on, at the very center of the city, this large, it almost looks like a claw coming out from the central city, and that, she points out, is the council chambers. And here we have the Draconic Council. I hear they have been in session the last few days, so we are catching them at a good time. Minds will be keen and sharp. They should be ready to discuss matters of great importance, and I'm hoping that they have already started to talk about the Order of the Dragon and what it means.
And statistically speaking, what kind of direction are they leaning, the main council? Is it sort of majority are against? How many are for? Who do we need to sort of keep an eye out for that might be our main opponents?
Well, yes, that's a very good question. As I've been in Oxenfurt for the last couple of months, I'm not quite sure where the political battlefield lies at the moment. Last time I was there were a couple of the council who were on my radar of potential problems. Idrog and Fronia. Those two in particular seem to be... I can type them up for you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mrs. Shana is taking notes.
Fronia. Idrog and Fronia. Yes, Idrog and Fronia were the ones that I was taking most note of. They seemed to be the most, nationalistic, patriotic, I would say. And that nationalism, that patriotism is what the cult were playing on. I mean, this book that was published, this account of the times, the account of the ruin written by Tiamat herself, or purportedly written by Tiamat herself, I mean, it talks about the power of dragons, the right dragons and Dragonborn have to rule, their inherent power. Yes, these sort of things appeal to a lot of the younger generations, and some of the older ones, those who believe that our power has waned with the other races that have arrived on Nostea. Some of the dragons are old enough to remember being here with the elves and dwarves as the three 3 original races. And remember the time of giants as well.
What do they think would be gained by taking power, being the absolute rulers? Are they after treasure, gold, or just the ability to rule as they see fit?
I believe power is the motive and the reward. But I suspect... indeed. I suspect there's more to it.
Yes.
I'm sure you've all heard of the semi-myth that dragons can become horde crazy and they can pass on that gold fever, as it were, to other races. It's not the gold that's the object of the desire. It's the wealth and the power. The items themselves are the manifestation of that, but it's the power that is what really drives them. And it is a lot rarer than I think stories would make it out to be. I'm sure you've all heard fairy stories from your cities and from your childhoods about dragons hoarding great wealth. And look, dragons like gold. Mira will test. Dragonborn like gold. We do. We like things that are shiny. There is a desire there for shiny things, but that hunger for wealth, power, it is rarer than you think, and it generally only affects very old dragons who have lost their wisdom, as it were.
Would the dragons be convinced that the effort of ruling Nostea isn't worth, the effort?
Well, that's an interesting point, and one that I think we can address, potentially. I'm sure the cult will have an answer for it, but it is something that we can address, and any arguments you can come up with, any reasonings that you can make that would sway them away from this pathway, I think is good to have ready. Any points that we might need to make. I think if we've talked them through before, they'll come naturally in conversation. It will appear much more practiced and much more thought out. And that is respected. Careful thought and reasoned debate are very much respected in the Draconic Council.
Well, I thought we were going to offer Yervith as an alternative source of power, the coming together of race with draconic abilities.
We're offering Yervith. Here's your new power source. Put him in a treadmill. He can...
Hello.
Yes, no, I agree 100%. Yervith is a perfect example of the harmony, the coming together of mortals and dragons. I think this is a very important thing. And Yervith is the connection you've made, Yervith, to your draconic spirit, this Drake Warden aspect that you've taken on, this is very old, very, very old, long before humans and other races came to Nostea. This is from the time of elves and dragons and dwarves, and this was lost. Some believe that this even predated their arrival in Nostea, that the first Drake Wardens came from other planes with the dragons and with the elves, and then something about this place prevented it, or the bond was broken, or something happened. There were no more Drake Wardens. There haven't been Drake Wardens since long before I was born, and I suspect many of the council will have never seen a Drake Warden. Heard of them, yes, but seen them, no.
Do you believe that perhaps some of the secrets of the Drake Warden lie in the city? Have you heard of anything, or heard of any secrets or rumors?
Well, there is an archive of knowledge deep below the city.
Really?
A collection. Yes, a collection of knowledge gathered from, our entire history as dragons. However, access is very much restricted. Unfortunately, a lot of it is in the hands of a single dragon, an ancient gold dragon.
I guess he's hoarding a different type of treasure then.
Indeed, a different type of power, knowledge.
If you don't mind me asking.
What was that, sorry?
What is his name, sorry? I'm just trying to get a map. Fafnir.
Fafnir.
No relation of the gold dragon that we saw earlier, are they?
Oh, very unlikely. Not all metallic dragons are related. Like not all gold dragons are. So a gold dragon and a gold dragon might not necessarily produce a gold dragon offspring.
So it's not like a lineage?
No, not at all. It's more likely, but it's not a guarantee. a lot of the dragons, there are very few pure blood dragons left. That's a very old cultural sentiment that has thankfully died out a long time ago. No, dragons intermingle quite often, chromatic and metallic, and they will produce an offspring based on their past lineage, but sometimes it can throw back 6-7 generations. I myself know of a white and black dragon who produced a red dragon offspring, and they had no red dragons in their family tree up until their great-great-great-great-grandfather. So it does happen, you get throwbacks.
Yervith's going to look at Lockie, kind of give a bit of a side-eye and go, I never thought I'd say this, but I think I really want to go to the archive.
Oh my. Yes, this is going to be fun.
Yes, it's colloquially known as Fafnir's Hoard.
Can you tell me anything about this Fafnir fellow? Is he agreeable, or
Maybe an ally?
perhaps an ally? Yeah.
Fafnir's a tricky one. He's very old. One of the oldest dragons, I think, is still alive today. He was around long before the ruin, and he claims that he was one of the original dragons that traveled to Nostea. No one can verify this. He is the oldest. There is no one to back up his story. With that great age comes a great weariness. Fafnir spends most of his time asleep, most of his time unconscious. He has a group, a cabal of dedicated archivists who work for him. Dragonborns, dragons who work under him, but I suspect the knowledge you seek, the knowledge of Drake Wardens, would be in his private section. I myself have spent some time in his library, in his archive. I have never come across any references more detailed than what I've already shared with you about Drake Wardens.
If he truly is as old as he is, perhaps if I was to convince him that I am indeed a Drac Warden, he might change his tune. Perhaps give me that access.
That's true.
Potentially.
Also, as someone with much age, perhaps he would be interested in old things.
Yes, knowledge. If you offer him knowledge is always appreciated. Items of antiquity, I know he keeps a small private museum, but it's more the knowledge that items can give him that he is interested in.
I not wanting to go too far off topic, but speaking of old knowledge, is Hadar known to the dragon people?
As you say, Hadar. You watch as Otelia Carnos, Elia in her dragonborn form, clenches her fists on the table, her claws gouging deep gashes into the table as you see her strength cut through. Her silver scales somehow turn an even paler shade of almost white as she looks at you. Where did you hear that name?
He destroyed my realm and my plane.
Hadar
And
is the Dark Hunger, a name we do not speak. Our legends say that we fled the Dark Hunger to this world, as did many races.
sounds familiar. Well, I think the other thing that I did want to bring up is, well, I'm sure that you guys all are, I'm quite afraid that he might come here somehow. And, I'm afraid that Tiamat coming back might be the opening in that door that allows him to find us.
This world is sealed. It is... No planar travel can occur. Hadar cannot come here.
If Tiamat can come here from where they are...
A single summoning spell, albeit one large enough to bring a dark god, back. I would think it's very unlikely that it would allow...
We do know of one instance, at least, of planar travel. There's a... relatively recently, I suppose. There's I'm not entirely sure what they're called. They're the Fae people, the one with the beans.
The Archfey?
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you very much. Yes, there is one that's passed into our realm. I suppose, to depends what I guess you would say recently by their standards, and perhaps yours. And that's one instance. There was another one of another story of a portal being opened somewhere and someone coming through or something.
I haven't physically traveled, but I have been in contact with Lyra recently too. She resides in the Feywild at the moment.
That's very true. And my point is, I feel like, yes, planar travel is difficult and nigh impossible, but I do believe possibly the barriers are weakening.
I believe so as well. I concur with Lockie.
To speak with another, using your mind in another location, accessing the borders between realms, that is not unheard of. Strong magic can accomplish that. People occasionally falling through cracks between the worlds, that happens a bit as well. I know that, I believe, quite a while ago, after the ruin, but there was a explosion of energy that some of the dragons felt, the older dragons felt, and they did say that there were cracks in reality for a number of months afterwards that slowly sealed.
Lyra was left this plane and fell into the wherever on earth the Archfey is merely months ago. I mean...
Physically? Her physical body? Or just her mind, spirit?
That's, it's a bit of a difficult story. I mean, half her body's here, but the rest of her, I guess, her mind?
She sees energy, not physical things, just manifestations of energy now.
It sounds like she is a soul trapped. When people die, intelligent creatures die, conscious beings, their souls can still leave and travel to various afterlives. It's only physical travel that is prevented. That Lyra is trapped between worlds in the border realm is unusual to be stuck there. She has unfinished business, I assume, but to not come back as a ghost, to be trapped in between, that is a bit more unusual. Sign of weakening barriers. Yes, Yervith, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It appears, no, my apologies. It appears the Archfey have some other machination in hand. They have their sights set on Lyra for something. I don't know what their motives are yet, but it can't be good.
No, Archfey are tricky. They're not malevolent per se. It's just what they deem to be benevolence, what they see as good and bad is very different to what you and I might see as good and bad. Their morals are very different. They're very capricious beings. Mischievous, yes. Deliberately harmful? Sometimes. But not evil in the traditional sense. You can trust, if you've made a deal with an Archfey, you can trust they will claim their half of the deal, and you must be very careful with how things are worded. Anything vague or open to interpretation, they are tricksy. They will twist words and twist intentions where they can. But to actively create harm, unlikely, from what I know, what I study. But then again, I should say I'm no expert. Knowledge comes from books, not from actual experience.
In any case.
So in any case, don't use the argument of potentially Hadar coming back to try and convince the others not to summon Tiamat.
I would prefer if you never say that name again. It's probably a children's story, but they say that he can hear his name being called.
Oh.
Don't doubt it.
So we stick to the Dark Hunger.
Noted.
Lord Dolbamort.
That's a great name. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
In any case, earlier, the city. I've never been to the city before. I was wondering.
Yes.
I was wondering if there were any. I suppose. Do you have any allies left in the city? Anyone that we could trust or stay with potentially while we're here?
Oh yes. I have my own quarters in the city. You'll be staying with me. I have my own. Manor house with a lovely guest wing. You will stay with me. My family are to be trusted. We can trust my extended family. Many of whom are politicians. Mira has worked for at various points. They are to be trusted. In terms of allies, well, the Dragonborn, I think, are our strongest allies. unlike the dragons, the Dragonborn, in a way, are kind of the bridge between human, elven, dwarven realms and the dragons, right? Like, despite their draconic appearance, you share much physiology with the humans, with the elves. So I think they will be our natural allies. And the cults don't necessarily actively recruit the Dragonborn. They're targeted the dragons. The dragons are the ones who give them power. I think we can use that to our advantage. There are many Dragonborns who hold power and status and privilege within the city who could be very useful allies to help us turn the tide.
In any case, I think I would prefer to be on the ground and figure out what the general feeling is in the streets.
Yes, there was one other thing. Rumors of another mask?
Yes.
Yes, Susurrus did brief me. It was the green mask, was it not?
Don't know. We haven't.
Lyra did mention that she felt the presence of a mask in the city. I can confirm that.
Okay. Well, that is very interesting. From what we know of the masks, they can actually be used to command dragons. So it might be that potentially that is a major source of strength for the cult, to be able to force allies and force people to work with them. This might be something we can use. If we can... I've had an idea. If we could publicly demonstrate...
Yes.
Mira's got this. Mira, please.
If we can show that the dragons are being controlled, that others have power over them.
It works
Yeah,
against the cult's entire message, saying that dragons should be on top, and then having... I mean, ideally, we're going to find a human or an elf wielding the mask. That would be so good. We could use that.
That would be excellent.
Find a dragon or a dragonborn with the mask.
The
Dragons
difficulty would
can't
be-
wear the masks. They're tiny, and they don't fit very well on dragonborn faces either. They were designed to be used by elves.
They were designed to enslave dragons, basically.
Yes, they
So we
were.
need to find a humanoid that's of not draconic origin, very likely then.
I'd rather not put my hand up, but if the need arises...
Oh, not
We
to...
weren't... No, I wouldn't...
Oh,
I wouldn't suggest one of you do this. I would suggest we find the wielder of the dragon mask, whoever is the current bearer, and either trick them or manipulate them or somehow force their hand into commanding a dragon in public, in front of other dragons. Ideally, if we can, in front of the council.
that's...
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes.
We would need to create a scenario that would warrant them to even contemplate using the mask.
Perhaps
Yes,
if they thought they were going to be severely undermined by the council or in front of the council, perhaps they would then call a dragon to aid them, back them up, squash the council, whatever it be.
I believe violence should be a last resort, but perhaps if they were in fear for their lives.
As far as you're aware, does the dragon mask prevent the wearer from being charmed?
It's a very good question.
Could we use magic to
I
force their
have no
hand?
idea. Potentially, yes, we could. Yes, that's a very valid idea. Something like a
Assuming that-
suggestion spell, perhaps.
That's what I was thinking, but
Mira's
assuming
specialty.
they're not too wise to be immune to the spell, if the dragon mask boosts that, the wearer's wisdom, I'm not quite sure how they work.
No, I'm not sure if they have any resistance against charm. I'm trying to think why that would have been enchanted into the masks, and I can't think of... I mean, as Mira said, these were designed to enslave dragons. I don't think they
for
were
that
designed to
same
protect
reason.
against enslavement themselves. This is a valid plan. This could be a much easier way of doing it. And
Because-
certainly would make us look better without having to jeopardize someone's life or look like we're attacking people in public.
My only concern about using suggestion is they could then turn around and say they were forced by us.
Oh, it's
To
one
use
thing
the
to
mask?
say that they're forced, but another to prove it. And more importantly, We don't need to prove that they are doing it. We just need to prove that they can. That is the threat, that at any moment they could command any dragon to do whatever they want. No dragon will follow the cult after that.
Well, I have the suggestion spell, and Mira, you have the suggestion. Does anyone else here have it?
No, it's not my expertise, unfortunately.
I wonder if Jin
does.
has it.
I think
Are
Jin
you
does.
sure you don't have it yet?
Jin doesn't,
You've got
yeah.
so many spells.
Jin does?
No, I was talking to Yervith. Are you sure?
Oh yeah, I've got that right up there on the old spell list.
I got a Thorn Whip.
Right under. Yeah.
Sorry.
One of these days, man. My new character's gonna have it. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Next campaign.
Yep. I love this idea of you like walking in as the new character and being like, I have my credentials right here, and you just whip out a Thorn Whip and slam it down on the desk.
Whoa.
So,
I mean, I have a charm spell, but it's not what we're after. I can stop somebody moving and...
It doesn't have to be suggestion. Any effect that would make them do what we want.
It doesn't do what they want. It stops them moving and puts them into a stupor. I can basically hypnotize them.
I mean, if we go down one pathway and, embroil ourselves, we may not even need a spell. We may even be able to convince them to demonstrate their power, perhaps.
Depends on the individual.
That's right, yeah.
If they're cocky or if they're confident.
That's right, yeah.
The one thing we'll need to be careful of is that I'm sure they will recognize you. The word has gotten around the cult about the Tempest Guild.
a little bit recognizable.
Yes.
I have a disguise, though. I have an alter ego.
Ah, yes, Jin did sort that out for us.
Yes.
Well, perhaps now's a good time to get into your disguises. We are probably only an hour or two away from arriving at the estates.
They're
Perhaps.
kind of one-time use, and they only last for about an hour. As in the
Okay.
physical. Unless, the physical ones that aren't spell-related, like painting Mira. Not much I can do about it. But,
Yes.
does anyone have the Zone of Truth spell?
Oh, yes,
that could be
right
good too.
under thought of it.
Right after suggestion.
It's right there.
I've got Thorn Whip of Truth. I whip them. And then they have to tell me the truth.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Would Jin have it, perhaps? Or...
Zone
I
of
don't
truth.
think he does.
He does not. No.
We got no druids, no clerics.
Yeah, no druids, no clerics, yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll just call my best buddy Lyra up, be like, yo.
Yo. I need a Zone of Truth. I can't. I'm dead. Oh. Sorry. I'm an incorporeal being who's neither here nor there, stuck in some limbo state between worlds.
But technically not dead.
Technically not dead, no.
Yeah.
So just cast a spell, yeah? Easy.
Oh, just, yeah. Oh, I can cast Dead Zone of Truth, yeah, bro.
Lyra's now a Kiwi brew.
Yeah, bro.
Why is Lyra Kiwi? Oh.
I don't know. It just feels like she would be a Kiwi.
They have hello,
there, guys.
died.
I'm Lyra. I'm a druid. I just really like Goodberry. And I just want to show you my Thorn Whip. Yeah, it's a pretty cool whip brew.
Oh, wish.
Chop
I
brew.
I've also
man.
got Shillelagh.
No, can't have none of your ghost chips.
Can make my staff really, really hard, bro. With Shillelagh. And then I whip you with wisdom.
And the thorn whip, which I do actually have.
You do actually have Thorn Whip. There you go. Oh, shit. Shots fired. Elliot sort of nods, goes, yes, yeah, I think this could work. Yes, Zone of Truth could be useful.
None of us have it.
Oh dear.
We could potentially find a spell scroll for Zone of Truth.
Oh yes, there are a number of very accomplished spellcasters. We could visit the Magical Bazaar.
There's a magical bazaar.
I love the Magical Bazaar, yes. Oh.
Yes, yes,
The magical bazaar, you say?
yes. It's
Oh,
it's a
course.
unique experience. I forget tourists to the city. Yes, the Magical Bazaar is a series of tents that stretch through the market district, just near the Red Scale district. Yes, it's a very interesting place. I would suggest you keep a tight hold on your purses as we travel through. Many items of magic, both middling and powerful, can be found.
Are there any people there peddling magic beans by any chance? Just
Magic beans? Not that I'm aware of, no.
I mean, I'm just saying, we came across that in Oxenford, so I mean, I wasn't sure. Maybe
that
they
the
have I'm just saying.
Could pop up anywhere.
I mean, there are. I mean, I have heard
Maybe
of
it's franchising.
I have heard of magic beans that when you plant them, some random effects can occur. That would be quite a rare item. Perhaps we could find that for you.
Not the bean I was thinking of, but still sounds very interesting.
I think that to get close to this individual with the mask, though, subterfuge might be the best way.
Indeed.
Do we?
Showing interest in their teachings.
They would definitely need to be part of the dragon cult, though, correct? It wouldn't be just a random bearer.
Maybe. I assume it's part of the cult. They're amassing
Yes.
allies for the cult.
Yes. All the dragon masks belong to the cult right now.
How common
Not all of them.
That's true.
how common are races other than Dragonborn and dragons in the city?
There are a few. Yes, there are a few. No permanent residents. One of the slightly older laws that still has yet to be changed. To live inside Velixur, you must be a dragon or dragonborn. The outer districts, outside the walls, is where other races can live. But it is excuse the term, a draconian law that has hung on. An outdated law. Yes, one must be a dragon or dragonborn to live within the city walls.
Sorry to interrupt. I just had a thought. We left that other dragon mask back at Oxenford, didn't we?
The dragon
We
mask.
don't have a dragon mask.
We didn't have.
You have Varum. You've got
We have
the
Varum.
previous.
Baron.
Very much
Yeah.
what
No,
So
No,
you.
I had a list
No,
here
the
somewhere.
our interns have it.
That's right. Because I did have the thought, if we can get our hands on that one, we can then, in a very safe and controlled way, prove that the dragon mark can take control of a dragon
Yeah.
without having to set somebody up or go through some elaborate scheme. We just say, here's a dragon mask. This is what it does. If you give us permission, we'll cast it on you. Promise we won't do anything bad. And then at least show them what the power does.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Varum went to the Tomb of Diodorus to try and locate his mask, which had been stolen. That's why he was at the scrying pool, was to try and find the location of his mask.
And we don't know who stole it, right?
I would say you have a number of hints as to who stole it.
We did know. No. It's what's her name? Our old mate from the snow. What's her name? I've written it down. I've lost my book. I had to redo my notes because I lost my book.
As long as you've written it down. As long as you've written it down, that's all that matters, hey?
It's in my book.
Okay.
Which is not there.
Your little blue one.
My little dragon one.
Oh, that's cool.
As long as you've got it.
Yeah, she's the power hungry one who doesn't care about religion and showed us around the Winter Lodge.
Shall I tell you who you're thinking of, or shall I leave you?
I know everything about her.
Shana doesn't.
Talus.
I don't think
Talus, yeah.
Talus.
She's got it.
Who had already started preemptively calling herself Talus the White when you
White,
saw
yeah.
her.
Ah, you
So-
have mentioned that name. Yep.
Yeah. Although Lockie doesn't know that because that was...
That was
Yeah.
Talari.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Yervith has met Chalice.
No, none of you have met Talus except Mira. She'll tell you. Yeah, she'll tell you.
Yes. I'm thinking perhaps maybe on our first day in Velixur, I will head to the council chambers and see what I can learn. I'm thinking maybe if we can locate someone to disguise you or find a way to disguise you and have you out on the streets gathering intel and information. We know the cult are recruiting. We know they are. If you can try and frequent some of the locations where they may have been recruiting from, I have a list of locations that I was planning on sending my people to check out. You can pick however many you want to look at from that list to go and investigate. I believe 3 of them are taverns as well. They seem to be recruiting from the working force as they finish and head to the tavern for a drink.
We can at least check out one with our disguises as they stand for an
Yes,
hour.
I am worried that your disguises seem very convincing, and as an emergency style thing, I'm hoping that you keep them for that. Perhaps if we can find a slightly less convincing disguise, or maybe find a way to hide your appearance for a bit longer.
Correct.
Yes. And hope that you are able to overhear or at least learn something from some people in those locations.
Are there any
Actually-
other Yuan-Ti in the city?
Yuan-Ti? No. No.
Yeah, the
definitely not.
snaketail might be a little bit of a dead giveaway, I'm afraid, for me.
Yes, we'll need some magic to try and keep that hidden. I know the spell Disguise Self would do the job. Perhaps if we can find a way to get you all some spell scrolls of Disguise Self, or maybe some slightly longer use of Disguise Self.
Yes.
See what I can do.
Okay. This sounds
maybe-
like it. I think as soon as we can try and infiltrate the cult and find the masks, the better. The more convincing we'll be to the council.
Or perhaps we could just send our friend Jin here in to do it all for us.
Jin sort of like looks up and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was a million miles away."
I was just saying, we're talking about sabotage and blending in.
Well,
to
you
be the
know how
expert.
much I like to infiltrate when I can. I can hit the
That's
ground
the
running, as it
most.
were, and see if I can figure out some things for us, if you'd like.
I don't see why not. I believe Jin here is probably the most qualified of us all. He can blend in with anyone or anything, so...
Well, I am fairly accomplished at disguise.
And scoping out like spy stuff.
Just keep in mind, you go in by yourself. There's no backup.
Well, I'll have to make do then.
Maybe just to scout ahead, and then we can all, infiltrate later.
I'm good
Indeed.
at not getting spotted, but blending in and talking to people, that's not my thing.
I'm so good at talking to people. They love me.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
perhaps if Jin scouts out a location, you could tail them.
That's a good idea.
Loki. Sounds like a plan.
Could give us time to go and see this library.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. We should.
Well, perhaps would you like to try and start with that today?
I think that's a good idea. The more the information we have, the better.
Absolutely.
All right. Because
Okay.
Jared's not here to tell us what Jin would do, I'm going to let him decide whether Jin accompanies you to the archives or not. And we will deal with that when he is back. So I will, because he may want to go check out the archives. So I will leave it that at the moment Jin is in a super state. He is Schrodinger's Jin. He is both with you and he is also doing the scouting ahead. And
Cool.
we will find out which reality is observed next session. So
It's like a...
I will
Who's
try
that?
to look in the box.
You can choose your own adventure, like which way
Yeah.
do you go?
yeah, Jin exists in a super position right now, so we're gonna not touch that. Okay, in that case, then, are there any more questions you have for Elia? Otherwise, I'll do a very teensy-weensy time skip as we catch up to.
The only thing that Yervith would probably mention to Elia is the thing that he mentioned last session would be which would be just fixing Yervith's mind. Just whenever they get the chance to do that, he
Yes.
would just maybe remind Elia again about.
Do you want to? You actually haven't had a chance to ask this of her. Sorry, because we haven't role played this yet. So this will be the
No,
first time
that's
you're
okay.
asking her. Do you ask this of her in front of the others? Or
No.
privately. Privately. Okay, good.
Privately.
So as she wraps up the meeting and everyone heads off to go get ready and get their stuff together, she heads down to her rooms. Yervith, you follow, knock on the door, and she invites you in and closes the door and sits down and goes, "Yes, Yervith, what can I help with?"
So I know things are moving quite quickly, and I haven't had the chance to say this, but you mentioned back in Oxenfurt that you could fix Faram's mind. You had some way of doing that.
Yes, we were hoping we could piece back together the fragments of his memories and personality.
I fear that of late, my memories may not all be my own. I feel as though I may have lost my mind many years ago. There are things that don't quite add up, things that I'm puzzled about. When I saw Lyra in that place, it reminded me of something that I'd read maybe as a child, but I don't remember much of my childhood. I don't really even remember how I ended up in Oxenfurt in the first place.
Tell me what you do remember, Yervith. We'll see what we can piece together. Sometimes just talking about these things can help.
Well, I remember vaguely. I thought I was in Oxenfurt to learn from something. I've always been good with my hands and good at thieving, and well, as a ranger, I would have gone there to practice skills. And he sort of rolls up his arm at this point. He rolls up his sleeve, and there's like brands and scars on his arms that he's kind of kept hidden from everyone. And he goes, "But that doesn't explain these brands. They're from the guards. They're from the guards in Oxenfurt. But I never got caught. Not that I can remember."
She examines them closely, running her cool fingers over your skin as she looks closely, and you can feel the cold scales, the cold silver scales, and the sharp claws to the touch, but very gently as she sort of examines them and traces their lines. Yes, these are very old. You've had these for most of your life. Scar tissue around here is fully keratinized, and if we come over this side as well, I can see this is a burn mark. This was a brand. A hot iron was applied to this skin here. You have no memory of this?
Not that I can recall.
I can't say I'm too surprised. You said you were a child when this happened. That is a fairly traumatic thing for a child to go through.
I was young. I was certainly young. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, perhaps I was on the streets when I was younger, and maybe I got caught. I don't know. It doesn't.
To face such pain as such a young soul is. Sometimes it's too much, and rather than feel the pain, the mind seals it away, pushes it aside, and locks it out so it can't hurt you anymore. I'm not surprised. It sounds like you went through some pretty awful things as a young child, Yervith. I would not be surprised if your mind had sealed those away to protect you.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think I've suspected it for a long time, but... He kind of like rolls the sleeve up a little bit, like...
Keep them hidden. Why? Are you ashamed of them? Are you...
It's just hard to look at sometimes. It reminds me of something.
I could try and remove the scars if you wished, if it was the sight of them, but I would be reticent to do so. At the moment, these are a tangible link to your history, and while you may not want to connect with it now, or you might not have wanted to connect with it when you were younger, you may do so in the future. If you asked this of me, I would, but...
No, I feel I need to remember, I need to understand my past. I feel that as though it holds me back from my future, my connection with my spirit now. I feel as though if I don't come to peace with it, understand it, I feel as though it holds me back.
If we cannot remember the mistakes of our past, how can we possibly hope to learn from them? I understand completely, Yervith. There may be something I can help with. Close your eyes. I want you to clear your thoughts. I'm going to place my hands upon your temples. Just keep your eyes closed. And as you close your eyes, she places her 2 fingers on either side of your temples. I want you to concentrate. Think of a place, time when you were calm and at peace and happy. Picture it very clearly and firmly in your mind. Yervith, can I have you please roll me a D100?
Shit. First roll of the night, guys.
I know. 16.
Pretty low.
Yeah, first roll of the night, 16. I know, it's just been roleplay so far. Well, technically there's been lots of roleplay, but Yervith, as as you concentrate and picture this, what do you picture? What is the calm, happy place that you imagine? This calm, serene location.
I think probably Yervith probably pictures himself like perched up on a tree somewhere, a nice forest, very classic forest, very green tree, river running behind, just the calm sound of running water.
Yeah.
Perhaps maybe younger in his own mind, potentially, you know, I mean, I guess like maybe like late teens for an elf. I don't know what that would actually equate to.
60 to 70.
Yeah.
Elves mature at around about 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then probably like the sounds of like maybe his like family in the background, but not quite tangible in his mind at this point.
Yeah.
Just sounds of familiar voices and yeah, that sort of thing.
As you picture this, you feel this wash of energy and magic pulse from in front of you where Elia is standing. And you watch as the landscape around you shifts and turns, the trees growing and forming stone walls, the grass dying, crumbling to dust to form a dirty pavement, as the sounds of family turn into the cacophony of the city noises, and the sun, the bright sun overhead, shadowed by the tall, imposing buildings and walls on either side. The brook becomes an open sewer in the street next to you, as it very quickly becomes the slums of Oxenfurt around you. And you continue to youthen, finding yourself younger and younger and younger, dressed in rags, starving on the streets. And as you turn in fear, suddenly this fear filling your mind, filling your heart, a dark shape looms over you and strikes you across the face, sending you hurtling into the paving stones. The gauntleted fist, the city guard. The shock pushes you awake, and you open your eyes, gasping, staring into Elia's face. She pulls her hands away, places a hand on your chest, and goes, "Breathe, Yervith, look into my eyes. Breathe, in and out. I'm sorry, you went to a very dark place very quickly. I had to pull you out." As you reach up and touch your face, Yervith, I saw Matt do it. There's a trickle of blood from where the guard had struck you as a child. A little trickle of blood coming from your lip, which has been split.
Wow, okay.
I'm sorry, it's a way to relive memories, but you went deep very, very quickly. I had to pull you out. I was afraid of you getting hurt. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I thank you. Thank you for that. I'm starting to understand a little bit more.
I was hoping to start slowly. That's why we went for the calm, peaceful place first, but, yeah. Perhaps we can try again when you feel up to it. We'll have some tea. We'll sit down and light some incense, and we'll make it a very calm environment, shall we? Probably being on the airship's not helping. We're being jolted about a bit, and we're about to head into Velox, sir. I'm sure there's a bit of anxiety there as well, so I wouldn't write it off just yet. I think this could work.
I think so too.
If you really want to, I'm there.
You're not there. Lockie's head pops out from under the bed. Oh, if you really want to, you could just tune up your central processing gear, and then you'd have no problems with these memories.
You can hypnotize him.
I can hypnotize him, yes.
How can you hypnotize him?
He just detaches one of his cogs and like swings it backwards.
Yeah.
It'd be great because when he says like, "Don't look into my eyes," you're like, "Okay, he's like, I'm not going to blink." I know, you never blink. I know, just look at my eyes. Here we go. And then your eyes start like moving as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you produce your own metronome. Elia sort of takes a hand off your chest, looks and goes, "Are you okay? I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting you to fall into darkness so quickly. I'm sorry. I should have warned you what I was planning to do."
No, it's okay. I think I need to face it before I can be done with it.
That is often the way. I think it is very brave of you to try and face these things, Yervith.
It just feels like all my life I've been running away from something, yet also chasing.
I guess in a way we're all chasing something that we want, some desire or some hope, and I guess as well we're all kind of running from mistakes as well. I think the real challenge is to turn and face and fight off the mistakes. I think only then can you
Agreed.
find your goal.
Just feels like I've been running for so long, and I feel like now it's the time to face it. Whatever it may be, whatever's holding me back.
Absolutely. I mean, not to be a downer, but if we fail, if we are to fail in our mission, potentially it could mean the end of the world. At least for humans and elves and dwarves. I'm sure the dragons will be doing quite well, but now's a good time to reconcile any differences you need and right any wrongs that you feel stand in your ledger.
That's right. That's why I thought I'd speak to you. I just want to be my best self for whatever comes ahead.
Indeed. One more piece of advice, Yervith. Your past does not define you 100%. Your choices now do as well. Whatever you find, whatever you learn from your past, it's not who you are. It's who you were. I hope that helps.
Those are some wise words, Elia. I appreciate that.
I'm a politician. I'm very good at sounding wise.
Oh, no. By all means, your words hold weight.
I'm very pleased. If there's anything else I can help with, please don't hesitate to let me know.
I think that's enough for now. Thank you.
Anytime.
I'll be going.
Rest up, and I think you and Eleonora are going to do some great work. Eleanor are going to do some great work. I got
I'm
there.
sure we will. You did. That was good. I'm sure we will.
Alrighty. Anyone else doing anything on the airship before we arrive at the plantation, the estate?
Lockie, do you want to have a chat with Mira? That's all right.
Lockie wanted to have a chat with Mira, and Shana, what did you want to do?
She just wants to check on the security of the box and make it secure while we're away.
Shana, box be secure.
She's
Not even
clicking
gonna make you
around like
roll for
another
it.
hand.
Not even make you roll for it.
Yeah.
As you come downstairs, Arvel is there in the engine room. Ah, here to investigate the box again, Shana.
Yes, only the 7th time today.
It's still welded to the wall, and it still resembles some sort of toolkit.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I have told you, and I will say it again. I will guard this as I guard the airship with my life. Alrighty.
Look back out again.
Perfect. Well, do you walk though, or do you slither back out of there? I don't know. Sorry. Lockie, over to you. You wanted to talk to Mira? I pass into your hands.
Sure. Where would Lockie find Mira?
If we're getting ready to land, then she's probably cleaning up the kitchen so that it looks really nice.
Packing away the bread.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Kid supplies,
We'll slip in.
medalist.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll clump his way in. Mira.
Oh, yes, Lockie, yes. You have everything you need? Do you need a snack? No, you don't need. Do you want a hot plate?
Oh, I mean, it's on.
Okay.
Sure.
Mira will just heat a plate all in her hand with her fire hand and hand it to Lockie.
Use my fire hand. Yeah.
My fire hand, my gold hand.
My fire hand and my ice hand. Yeah. Easy as. You just hold your hand out on a plate. It's a metal plate. It's a serving platter that was used to cook the bread. You heat it up to roughly 75, 80 degrees, quite hot, and then hand it to him. Actually, how hot are you going? Sorry, I should ask. How hot are you? How hot are you going?
Just pleasant warm.
Oh, okay, 40 degrees, Lockie. She hands you a 40-degree warm plate.
It's exactly 40 degrees.
That's
Exactly
exactly 40 degrees. That's amazing. After he consumes that, I did have a thought because I'm trying to remember. I believe it was Shana that mentioned an idea.
Yes.
In place of bringing Tiamat through, if we were to bring somebody through.
Yes. I can see that you're taking up a conversation which you've probably had in your own head.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, my thought was, if we need to bring somebody through, what kind of being would we want on this side?
A benevolent one?
That is a thought, but the problem is goodness, which is, a value all in itself, can be twisted and thwarted. Somebody that thinks they're doing good can be doing evil.
Is this specific to me?
No, my dear. No. You're doing well.
But now that you mention it.
But now that you mention it, no, that's a different conversation. I'll put that aside. Wait, I'll just jump in. It's okay. But that is my worry. Is if we bring someone in that's good, that can be twisted to do evil. If we bring someone in that is evil, then that's just going to be disastrous. If we bring somebody in that is chaotic, then we're just spreading chaos. If we bring someone in that's law, well, laws can be unjust.
Yes, and I think Shana said something about bringing a bit of chaos, which wasn't appealing to me.
Yes. My thought was the god of the giants, which is just the storm, is perfectly neutral.
And
as a perfectly neutral being, doesn't that put them in some ways above corruptibility? Because that is my fear, that we bring them through someone that is ultimately powerful into this side, and they are either by designation chaotic and evil, or lawful and corruptible, or some mixture of them.
I would argue that a truly neutral being is infinitely corruptible in any direction. Just for fun. Just for fun.
Yeah, I see.
Lockie's not thinking this. That's just an Owen thought.
No, I think I know what you said. So, in terms of what Mira thinks, she's like, so incorruptible as the elements are incorruptible.
Well,
Is
yes.
that what you mean?
I mean, a storm will strike, but it doesn't care what it strikes. It doesn't mean to strike. It doesn't mean to be evil. Wind doesn't mean to push your trio, but
it lacks intent.
It lacks intent, and with intent comes the
with intent comes agenda, right? Like,
yeah, there is something.
Okay. Getting into some deep, heavy philosophy here. I love it.
Well, Lockie, I see your point. As someone who commands, that's a bit strong, whoops, who channels elemental energy.
Mira says all of that.
Oh yeah, she does. No, she does. She does. I can see what you mean.
True master of the elements.
Yes, master of the elements.
As master of all four elements, no.
Yes, one day. I think I see what you mean. For a long time, I thought that my powers controlled me, but equally, I can control them. If we brought something like that through, who knows what would happen, though. But you want to bring back the giants.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. That is a very tempting thought. They were, by and large, they were uncorruptible in a way. Maybe it was a reflection of their deity, maybe it was something of their own, but at least my experience of them was largely positive.
Then why did they leave, Lockie?
That's a question I wanted to ask the library.
Ah. So you want to do some research? Do you want me to make you a bibliography?
Oh. I mean, if that will, if that will entice you, absolutely. I'm very interested in the bibliography.
What's wrong, Ellie?
I mean,
everything just dropped for me, and then I was worried that it dropped for everyone else too. But
no, you're back. We're good. Sorry, carry on, Lockie and Mira.
There's more to this. Why are you talking to me? I see your logic, but I'm not the most logical person here. Maybe you'd be better talking to Shana or...
Oh, I mean... logic is a fine thing. I have logic in spades. I needed someone that is also good in their way. Just in case my ideas were heading in the wrong direction.
Of all the people who I wish to come through that portal, I suppose a giant storm wouldn't be as bad as, say, the Hungry Darkness, or even their patron, Jin's and Shana's. I'm very concerned that.
Yes, he concerns me too.
Darling, I concern myself on a daily basis. No, he's not saying that. No. He doesn't say that. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. It's just me trolling you. No, you don't hear Varys.
If there is an alternative like that, it may come to the point where we have to maybe step in. That might be that would be a good option for research. I'm more willing to trust a storm than I am a whisper in the dark. We can look. I'll make a list.
That sounds enchanting.
Lockie, you've spoken a little bit about Anam, the god of giants. Yeah, a couple of things start to return to your memory. As you mention this, every time you start talking about new things, old pathways, long since forgotten and disused, begin to whir into life. You remember Anam, the depictions of Anam by the giants as a giant himself. Genderless, very almost featureless, this very rugged, cragged form. This very rugged form, almost as if made from clay in a way, in his depictions. And the terms used to describe Anam, Anam the creator, Anam the life bringer. Very, and used his own flesh to create the giants and create the worlds. Yeah, very interesting mythological figure. Now that you're starting to reflect back and think about it, in terms of personality, yeah, neutral is about right. Anam was not described as either good nor evil. Anam was a builder, a creator. The giants kind of tried to follow in that. That was a lot of the goals of the giants was to build and create in honor of Anam, their creator, and to innovate and learn. But Anam valued creativity and ingenuity and creation over destruction. It's what you very distinctly remember as that starts to come back to you. But yeah, depictions of Anam, always depicted as just a giant-like form, but genderless. And you know that Anam is sometimes called the father of creation, sometimes called the mother of life. And you get the sense that Anam is not gendered. There's a very androgynous character in mythology. And that is what you know. That is what your databanks reveal to you as you start to reflect on Anam.
Are you all right, Lockie?
Yes, I just I had a new memory, which is strange, but a new old memory.
It can be painful to unlock memories. So you all right? This one was a good one. I actually feel more solid about my thoughts. I think it's something to research, definitely, and possibly something to think on. Maybe more things will be revealed as you research. You are very old, so...
I am very old.
For podcast listeners, that was Lockie's arm being adjusted.
Oh, here you go. She'll bring out the olive oil.
Oh, thank you.
A new old memory. That is a good name for an episode. Done. I'm going to call this episode A New Old Memory.
I think things will be revealed in time. Things that you think you understand, you don't really, especially about yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's the ultimate mystery, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How is your self going?
Fine.
Insight check.
I'm not rolling for that.
You're going to roll with the actual dice.
You could, if you really want to roll that as a real dice, you're more than welcome to.
That's all right.
Although for the stats,
I gotta show you guys my Mira dice. Wait.
Your Mira dice
That
or your
roll, though.
Mira? Oh, nice. Red and blue. Amazing.
That's
For
very cute.
podcast listeners, Claire has bought a set of dice which is a mixture of an icy blue and a fiery red. That's awesome.
Yeah. Very excited.
I didn't like
I'll just tell you just off the cuff. Actually,
Go.
Mira seems fine. She seems pretty good. She's a bit vague, which is why she's trying to organise so many things without any particular reason. But she's quite sure of herself. I think Lockie would be able to see that with his passive insight.
Okay.
4.
Good, because
Lockie,
that's a good-
she's not keeping anything hidden. She's just saying it out is, man.
I'm glad, because we've been through quite a bit, and then it would be understandable if you were, doubting yourself or feeling a little bit undermined. But you seem just fine. I'm going by what you said. You seem absolutely fine.
I seem less fine now. After you said that.
Well, because I'm paying attention more is, I am happy. This has been a wonderful chat. I'll see you later.
What? Oh, okay.
Corvin, who's sitting at the kitchen table looking at you, Mira, goes, "I'm fine."
Burns around me.
And then Corvin just sort of clocks out of the kitchen, making the stomping noises Lockie made with his mouth. Like,
Thanks, Corbin. Yeah.
I'm fine.
Mira will think very carefully about an alternative form of power, though, because the last thing she wants is Tiamat actually coming through and then kind of maybe even claiming her soul. So, yeah.
It's a good question.
But she makes more tea, I think.
Make some calming tea. Hands like jittering as she pours the hot water and takes a sip. And this needs to be stronger. Pulls out the flagon of whiskey, topping it up.
It's that dragon wine. It's like emerald.
Yeah. She's like checks it. Sapphire puts it back. Ruby puts it back. Emerald. Yeah, this is the shit. Dumps it in the tea. With that, the airship. Wait, sorry, Yervith? He's muted. No, he's muted. Unbelievable.
Am I back now?
He's
Hello?
back now.
I was going to say, is it a decanter of endless whiskey?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
We could find out.
I have DM'd a campaign where they had a decanter of no, what is it? What's the jar that lets you summon different items from it? It's like mayonnaise or oil or things like that.
Yeah, I've had that before.
Can't try to remember what it's
I
called.
can't remember what it's called though.
But they use that to make basically like alcohol that they then used as a substrate to form like poisons and things like that. I was really impressed.
I love that, like, if you had that item, you don't need rations, because, like, you could theorize that, like, mayonnaise gives you all the nutrients that you need.
Almost all the nutrients that you need.
Almost all the nutrients, yeah.
Toilet.
It's like 90%.
And plenty that you don't.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you technically you can survive without rations if you've got the decanter of mayonnaise, whatever it's called. What is it called?
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember what it
Chat,
is.
help us out. Help us out, chat. Come on, what's it called?
It's
What's that?
an uncommon
It's like
item, I know that
It's
for
an
sure.
uncommon. It's like jar of. It can make honey too, and all sorts of fun things. It can make honey, oil, mayonnaise, water, wine.
Alchemy jug? No.
Alchemy jug. I think it is an alchemy jug.
It is
Alchemy jug.
alchemy jug.
Alchemy jug.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the airship continues on for another couple of hours before you feel the airship begin to lower as the speed drops off, and the airship then begins to lower down towards the surface of the continent. The closer you get to the ground, the warmer it begins to get, even with the climate control around the ship and the bubble that keeps the airship climate intact. You start to feel the warmth seeping in, and before too long, perspiration collects on your brow, on your necks, and on your backs as the heat begins to ramp up. And you find yourselves dressing down into much more hot weather appropriate gear. As you step up onto the deck of the airship, you can see that the airship is coming into dock at a large vertical pillar that has a series of rings and hoops that allow for an airship to dock upon it, and a platform is rising up next to the airship that looks like it is used to move cargo to and from airships. Leosin, who is at the helm of the airship, calls back and goes, yes, guys, we're here, have a look. I've never seen a plantation quite like it. And as you look out over the deck of the airship and over the bow, you can see this large manor house, beautiful, made of sandstone It's been formed into these beautiful curling spiral-like shapes of columns and archways, all very open plan, very Spanish style design, Mediterranean Spanish design. And as you look out across, you can see that the desert and sort of crag land has given way to a very lush, fertile vineyard. Before you, rows and rows of vines stretch out across the landscape. Aqueducts and water passing through, dividing the fields into different plantations. And then towards the south, you can see a plantation of what looks to be maybe sugarcane. And next to the manor house, a large shed with huge copper cauldrons and pipes leading to and from different areas. Elia steps up onto the ship, gives a bit of a stretch and goes, I have to say, the smell of a distillery, while not being quite pleasant in and of itself, does indicate delicious things to come.
Do you make the emerald wine here?
Oh yes, they make all sorts of wine here. This is one of my good friends, Bacchus. It's been it's been a long-term friend, Bacchus. You're welcome. It is Stardew Valley, essentially. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's the desert. It's the desert in Stardew Valley.
Yeah, that's all right.
The desert plot. As the moving platform rises up, flush with the airship, you can see a number of Dragonborn, a mixture of copper, silver, a few chromatics in there as well, some white and green Dragonborn look around a little bit confused as they go to unload cargo, and there's no cargo coming off the airship. And Leosin sort of like waves them off. He's like, no, I haven't got anything. They're like looking around being like, but the cargo... No, we didn't bring any cargo. No, please, hang on. Elia, please explain what's happening here, please. Elia steps forward and goes, yes, I'd like to speak with Bacchus, please. Is he around? Can I find him? A silver dragonborn steps forward, matching her, very tall, long curved horns that have been braided with a series of silver threads joining up between the links that then comes down to a nose-piercing nods.
Yes, my lady. Bacchus is inside the house. Shall I take you there now, you and your companions?
Yes, that would be very, very great. We're very welcome. Thank you, yes. Please, come aboard. Come onto the platform, all of you. As you step aboard, Jin has taken on a dragonborn appearance while downstairs. He now appears to be a very dull copper dragonborn. Scales are a bit sort of greyish. Very, not resplendent, not standing out, very dull. And he has dressed himself up in inconspicuous, and he's dressed himself up in quite plain walking clothes, just like traveling clothes, everyday wear that fits his draconic form quite well, and he does not really stand out at all. In fact, one of the workers that goes to sound and goes, "Can't believe they didn't have any cargo." Oh, sorry, you were with the ship. And Jin sort of nods and goes,
Yeah, I was with the ship. Yeah. Nah, we've already dropped off the cargo.
"Oh. Are you collecting them? We should have been warned in advance."
Nah. Just taste testing. Yeah, we're inspectors, wine inspectors. We've got to try it out, make sure the product's good.
Elia sort of gives him a look, and Jin goes, "Nah, I'm only joshing ya." Gives him a little playful punch on the arm. Dragonborn sort of looks at him a bit confused. I think that's what Jin would do.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's about right. Coal supply visit, yeah.
Yeah, we're just making sure we haven't marked us down too much.
Oh,
Don't want to see any of those red target stickers anywhere around here, am I right?
As you got to test the grapes. So,
yeah.
As the platform lowers and you guys begin heading towards the manor house, the other workers sort of stand back and begin going and getting crates ready, moving them aside and packing away all the supplies and equipment used to transport heavy items, having probably spied the airship from a bit of a distance away. Clearly, an effort has gone to get ready to unload stuff, and now there's nothing to unload. They're just getting back to work and putting everything away again. The Silver Dragonborn, who has been leading Elia and the rest of you, continues up the pathway. The pathway between the two vineyards on either side that are right behind the manor house. These look to be much smaller vineyards, and you can see here that there's actually some berries as well mixed in. There are a couple of berry bushes as well. And as Elia sort of is walking past, she leans back and goes, These are where he grows some of the trial fruits that he's trying out. New experiments, little macro experiments. Try things out, try new flavors out.
Microbrewery, you could call it.
Well, no, he's got the macro brewery over there. She points at the massive shed with like copper tubing coming out the roof. But yes, Bacchus still likes to tinker and try out new things. He's a bit of a god of wine in these parts. For those of you who don't understand why everyone's laughing, Bacchus is a Greek god of wine and revelry. Mira's taken damage. 4 damage. Why? That's not a pun. It's not a pun.
It's bad though.
Why is it bad? What would you have called him?
He's so good.
True. That's true.
Oh no, sorry. It is sorry. The Romans called him Bacchus. The Greeks called him Dionysus.
Greek was Dionysus.
Yeah,
I was
Dionysus.
I was like googling that. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, no, sorry, you're right.
Dionysus is the Greek one.
Yeah. See, I heard a Greek person pronounce the. Very quick aside. I heard a Greek person. One of my customers is this lovely Greek surgeon, and he corrected me on the pronunciation of some of the Greek gods because I don't know how it came up, but in passing I mentioned one of the names, and he corrected me. I think I said Hercules. He was like, it's Heracles. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
he went through and corrected me on all of them. Dionysus. And I was like, okay, thank you. Dionysus. Yeah. Sorry, Bacchus is the Roman, the Romanization version of Dionysus, the god of theatre and wine and revelry.
There's also a Bacchus marsh near where
In Melbourne.
There is a Bacchus.
Yeah,
There is a Bacchus
go there
marsh in
quite
Melbourne.
often.
Isn't that where Jared's? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
That's probably I think Jared might have
Yeah.
something down that way, maybe.
Yeah. I think Jared's got something down that way.
Yeah.
In a brewery in Brisbane.
Is it a brewery really?
Bacchus.
Is there
Or is it
really
a
called
pub?
Bacchus? I think it's a pub.
Oh, it's a pub.
That's right.
I'll
Still
go to
good.
that pub. That
Anyway,
sounds great.
quick aside over. As you walk up to the doors are flung open as you see a green dragon form. This 2-meter tall. It could not be a dragonborn. Too draconic. Large wings unfolding on his back. Massive curved horns. And you can see that he is dressed in these very beautiful white robes with purple grapevine markings all over them. And as he opens the door, he goes,
Elia, Otaliocanos, welcome back to the vineyard. It has been too long. And you bring friends. Have you come to drink and make merry?
everyone, this is Bacchus. Bacchus, I'd like you to meet the Tempest Adventuring Guild.
Adventurers. We have not had many adventurers here in a long time. I hope that means you can hold your liquor.
Starts looking over at each of you.
It is very difficult for me to get drunk.
Warforged, I appreciate challenge. I can come up with things for you.
Oh,
You do not need to worry. I have many things that will amaze and delight.
that is quite impressive, considering our friend Lockie here lacks the necessary parts.
Digestive system is not necessary for good wine.
It
It is the taste.
Oh, you mean, right.
It is to stimulate the senses, the nose, the tongue, the taste. That is what good wine is about. And we can do the same for Warforged. Just a different type of stimulation of sense. Because he still senses hot and cold. He still senses touch and no touch. He still sees things.
I guess I hadn't thought of that before, but you're right.
Yeah, there are ways to stimulate senses. That is all wine is. Wine is fun and stimulation.
Plus, it's always
It
fun
is-
getting Legolas.
Indeed, indeed. Well, it is lovely to meet you all. Welcome, welcome. I see you have brought an airship. Are you planning on taking back some supplies with you? We have a very special discount, cellar door discount. We can go through prices.
And Elia sort of goes, Bacchus, we were hoping we could leave the ship here for a couple of days, if that's all right.
Ooh, Elia. You twist my arm once again. I am expecting a number of people to be coming by in the next few days. A number of deliveries. Where will they park their airships?
Oh, we don't have to leave it tied up the whole time. Some of the crew will stay. They can move the airship aside and we can... Have I missed something?
Sorry.
What have I missed?
I just wrote in the chat, is Bacchus going to hand Lockie some 5 gum?
Stimulate your senses is what it feels like to chew 5 gum.
That's what it feels like to chew 5 gum.
He just punches you in the face.
Yeah.
Oh my god! It hits you with a door.
Yes.
Lockie sees through to. Amazing.
Couldn't help myself, sorry.
What was I saying before I got sidetracked?
Deliveries coming.
Oh, but they can move the airship. The crew will stay here. They can always move back the airship and keep it out of the way. Oh, you drive hard bargain. I think you will need to buy 3 crates of wine to take with you, otherwise feels like docking fees
Mira?
and also I mean, you know I don't care about the money, but the book managers, those little ledger men.
Mira, what about, I mean, if we have some of the extra funds, why not use this situation to our advantage and become, I'm sure there's not much dragon wine in the Oxenfurt. I mean,
Yeah,
perhaps
Mira,
the Tempest Adventuring
you've
Guild
seen
could.
1 or 2 places that sell it.
That's very true.
We could use it to fund some of our ship expenses.
Yeah, that is quite niche. I like it. Yes, we could maybe make it a very small section, like maybe a micro sort of setup.
I was thinking make it worth Bacchus's while for letting us to dock here. I mean, it is greatly appreciated.
This one, you have a business snake with you. I like.
Business Oh, that's very good. Yes, business snake.
Sorry. Sometimes things pop into my head and I just say them, and then I hear them back and I go, what the fuck was that? Oh, my mouth just said that, and then my brain caught up and was like, what? Oh, fucking hell. God, dear.
Amazing.
Ah, you bring business snake. Good.
It's
I
very
should get myself a
competitive.
business snake.
We could become a supplier to the maybe particular pub that's next to or near the Adventuring Guild. Maybe not in it.
You know that one of the
Yeah.
possible guild expansions is a tavern.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Huge.
that could be our inn.
Oh, in.
Ah!
Nice.
Wow.
There's 2 ends and 2 meanings to what she just said.
It's happening.
I like the sounds of what you say. You say good words, I like them. Now we talk numbers. Words good, numbers good. How many crates of wine? 2, 3, 5.
How much are we talking per crate?
Oh, for a friend, I think we can charge 20 gold. 20 gold per crate.
Can Shana sort of try and get some insight onto if this is actually a reasonable price for a crate of wine?
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
generally?
You can make an insight check, but I'm gonna warn you right now. You've got no point of reference to what dragon wine tastes like or what it costs.
What
This is gonna be
about
fun.
actually alternative? Because she doesn't have a thing.
Yep.
Could she sort of try and sweet talk him? It's like, I mean, I know we're friends, but we, you know that we don't have any frame of reference for, how much a crate of wine is worth. I mean, perhaps you could become our exclusive dealer. Maybe we could talk, some better numbers for an exclusivity deal.
Your business snake is savvy and wise. I was looking for sponsorship deal.
Well, I mean, would you not want the Bacchus bar and
shit.
inn in all the way
Not where I thought
Edinburgh?
this session was going.
Wow.
The Bacchus bar. I mean, get your name all over the city at least, and then perhaps further expansion from there.
It's true. There's no market at all in Oxenfurt. I'll just
Yeah.
sidle up to Shana.
You could even name it after yourself. The Bacchus.
That's the quote of the night. Your business
Quote of the
snake
night.
is savvy. That's a t-shirt.
That's a team.
Get that.
Yeah.
With Shana. That's Shana's quote. Oh man.
Yeah, this is a good suggestion. I like it a lot. I like new opportunities. And to be honest, the market of Velox has grown somewhat stale of late. A new competitor selling vinegar, but at a very low price. People care not for the intricate flavors, smooth palate. They just want to get drunk quickly. People are drowning their sorrows.
Vinegar.
Well, not actual vinegar. It is wine,
Oh.
or so he claims, but it tastes like vinegar.
Well, I mean, all the more reason for you to expand. Have you thought about expansion?
Oh yes, I have. This is a good
But-
suggestion.
You haven't sort of gotten around to it recently, as sort of perhaps transport a bit of
I
an
have not.
issue.
I
so-
have not had transport or my own place to sell. I have not looked at real estate. Real estate in Oshia, very expensive.
Well, perhaps Oxenfurt could be a wonderful place for you to expand into.
Especially if you already have the venue. We shall talk numbers, my snake. This is good. I like.
Perhaps we should try some of the product as well. I've had a bit of an interest in this dragon wine.
Yes. Wood Elf speaks well. Yes, you shall try. You shall try. You shall try. Ooh. I have a new experimental bottle I have been looking for. Has not found the following that it deserves here in Ciari, but perhaps it is for your people.
Well,
Elia sort of
we
gives
have
him a sidelong glance. Is it safe to drink, Bacchus?
Yes.
No side
wouldn't
effects,
be-
Bacchus?
Let's go.
This is Grappa.
No side effects, Bacchus?
No. Side effects.
And it's
inside
not going to
check.
hurt them. It's not going to hurt them. Bacchus.
Inside check.
No one's gone blind, right?
Make an inside check.
Inside check. Everywhere.
It's not going to hurt them, Bacchus.
No. Not permanently.
Nah.
Not permanently. I mean, what kind of hurt are we talking? Are we talking about hurt in that you have such a good time that nothing else ever compares, or hurt in that you could
Yes.
spontaneously give up?
That is a new slogan for wine. You'll never try anything else again.
That doesn't inspire confidence.
24 on the insight, Yervith. You get the sense that Bacchus is a very mischievous dragon.
Oh no.
100% this is fine to drink. He is playing a game. As soon as Elia expressed any concerns,
Yeah.
immediately he's on it. He is absolutely playing with her. And she's not 100% sure. And you think that is absolutely making him the happy... Like, the fact that she isn't sure whether or not he's doing this, he's getting a real kick out of that.
Like coming
Get
from a
this-
politician as well. This is like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
reveling in this.
Like, absolutely. He's reveling in the fact that she doesn't know whether or not he's joking. And you get the sense for him, that is like the pinnacle of comedy for him. When you say something and people don't know if it's a joke, you think that's what makes him the happiest dragon. That is
Wow.
what he wants. Much like me. Mira, 12. You're not sure, Mira. You've got no idea whether this is safe to drink or not. Dude's hard to read. Like, he's been so blasé, and he's like said some ridiculous things already. He's called Shana a business snake twice. the point of reference here of sane information and sane behavior, it's a swinging pendulum. You've got no idea.
I'm just like looking at Ilya. I'm just taking my cue from her, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Do you ever just he has a bit of a smile and he's kind of just like, this guy's funny.
Yes, come. I must come too.
Just before
The
we
boudoir.
imbibe, we don't have. Do we have any tasks or quests or missions to do prior to the day's end? Because I mean, Bacchus, if Ilya has talked up your wine quite a fair bit, and if it's anything to similar to how it's been talked up, we might not be in quite a state to perform any tasks after we check out this wine, which I'm very keen to do, but also don't want to jeopardize, everything.
That is a good point.
Talia,
What time is it?
You honor me greatly. You say my wine is the best.
I wasn't saying
She has
You say it is the greatest.
I was just saying
the greatest in all the land.
He's quite good.
You honor me, Talia Ganos. I always knew you were firm friends. You politicians. I knew I could trust you. You're not a bad one. You're a good one.
Actually, out of curiosity, what is
What, sorry?
what is the
What's the
time
time?
like in the game?
Oh, it's not even lunchtime yet. It's like
Oh, okay. It's all right.
it's like 11, 10:30,
oh
11.
shit. Okay.
It's quite early.
Day drinking, D&D.
Gin.
Leave the drinking till, we're returning here tonight, aren't we?
Yes, you must stay. You must stay.
Well, we do have to get to Velox, sir. We are a little bit on a time frame. Perhaps we could do a little tasting now, and then while we travel to Velox, sir, we can let the effects wear off.
A little tasting. You insult me.
I'm sorry.
Well,
No. I joke. No, please. A little
We
tasting
have to come
shot.
back this way on the way home. I mean, so we're a captive audience. We're coming back.
Ah, that is true. I have your airship hostage.
Very true.
Ah, that is true.
Ah,
That
no,
is
you are not
not
here.
true.
I can load as much wine on this as I want.
We're not going anywhere in a hurry.
Exactly.
pretty
Make
much
sure
here,
you
well,
label it
sitting.
You
to the
take
back
you
of
take
the
business snake with you. No one there to talk numbers. Great, fantastic.
Oh, Neosin is still on there, so.
I think the airship still needs to be able to fly. Just don't compromise the.
Ah, as long as lift is present, what is problem?
Leosin is the one to talk to you about loading
If it's
on
too
any.
heavy, drink some.
Hard to argue with that logic.
Okay, I will talk to Leosin, but first, you have little taste before you go, yeah?
No, of course.
Elia nods, goes,
Try and stop me.
yes, we can have a little taste. And then, would you be able to get one of your staff to call a carriage for us? We will need to head to Veloxer rather quickly.
Carriage? I will not call carriage for you. I will send you in my carriage.
Oh, that's not strictly necessary.
No. I have had improvements made. You will be very comfortable.
Oh no.
Okay, thank you, Bacchus.
Yes, very comfortable.
Gives you all a bit of a weird smile. And
Come to my boudoir.
and heads inside the front door. Elia turns and goes, yes, look. He's really trustworthy.
Huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, I promise. Bacchus doesn't get involved in politics. He doesn't care. He has no interest in anything other than wine and
Wine.
good times, as he puts it. Yes.
And sending us in a carriage, that's going to be a good time. Probably for him, but possibly not for us, if
No,
your
actually-
expression is anything to go by.
I think we accept. If we arrive in one of his carriages, no one's going to look twice. It's not going to be. But strangers coming into the city in an open carriage, one of the public carriages, we might get spotted. No, I think actually this might play into our favour. That's why I didn't fight him too hard on it.
It's a good idea.
Yes. Actually, I just had a thought before we do, finish off everything. Perhaps, if we could, get maybe some head coverings or something to maybe keep us slightly more on the down low until we do figure out our disguises, just in case anyone should spy us through a window.
Even some local
Local garb or hats.
Yes, I think we can organise that. I'll ask Bacchus. Come, let's head to his boudoir and have a tasting, hey?
Boudoir.
What?
I wouldn't want to be rude. Let's go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And Elia begins heading inside. As you head inside, you can see that this house actually has a massive inner courtyard filled with beautiful flowers and tropical plants rising from the center of this large pond. And in the pond, you can see a number of koi fish swimming around lazy circles as they move through the water. And the water actually extends underneath parts of the flooring. So there are natural rivers built in the floor and glass on top of it. So it's almost like the house has a series of canals that the fish can swim through. You can see moss growing on the inside. It's beautiful. This house is stunning. Very Spanish coastline design. The inside archways, all open plan. There's no doors, just curtains and fabric hanging down. And fabric hanging from the walls, providing these beautiful tapestries of color and light. All very, not tapestries as you know them, not depicting scenes of history or depicting scenes of anything. These are very, almost chaotic mixes of color and movement and form. Almost expressionist, if we were to describe it in our sort of terms. It's very random splashes of color. Bright, vibrant. These are emotive. They're not descriptive. These are emotive tapestries. Just beautiful moves. Like strands just moving through, almost creating waves of color throughout that tapestry. It's beautiful. Nothing you've ever seen like it before. Yeah, one of a kind. All throughout this house. You can see Bacchus has already got a large glass in his hands, a gold-stemmed goblet with this beautiful glass filigree fitting up the sides. And he's already taking a deep sniff of some very dark, rich blue wine. Leaning up against a door, and he gestures in and goes,
You take 5 seconds. Why it take so long? I already have drink.
takes a sip.
Yeah.
So
We
refreshing.
got distracted by your art. It's gorgeous. Are there any of those tapestries in this
Everywhere.
room?
Everywhere, yeah. in every room, and
Can
they're all very
Shana
different
use-
splashes of color.
Can she use minor illusion to make it appear like the colors are actually moving and mixing?
Absolutely.
The little...
Yeah.
Just
Do
to
you
make,
want to roll me a spell casting? So just roll an attack roll with your spell casting, just like a spell casting check, basically. So it'll be a d20 plus your spell casting modifier.
Oh no!
11. That's okay. No, 11's okay. As you do this, the effect is it's very minor. It's only a very small area, but Bacchus turns and looks closely, then looks at his wine, and then looks at you, clearly casting magic, and looks again and goes, "Ah, I thought I had pulled out. Never mind. It is a different batch. That is very impressive."
A little bit of fun. Making sure it's not the green.
Oh no, I've been experimenting with a different type of wine.
It's not blue-green, is it?
No, it's made from cactus juice.
Oh no.
Oh no, not again!
But it is not ready yet. There are some side effects I have not yet quenched.
The quenchiest, I've heard.
Indeed.
Come, take a seat. And you can see that this area, this room that you've walked into, is a series of cushions laid out on the floor, designed to be sat down on the floor. There's a sunken section in the middle, and then a table lifted up from the center, made from driftwood, or maybe some sort of like desert aged wood. Yeah, Shana, these are designed for dragons and dragonborn to sit at, so their tails don't get anywhere. They're designed to be sat at.
That's cool.
But yeah, as you come in and kneel around, he heads behind what is clearly a massive bar and opens up this large cabinet behind him. Inside, you can see hundreds of bottles, ranging in sizes and shapes. It looks like a glassblower with hiccups got loose one day and has just made every shape imaginable. There's even one that looks like an hourglass, and the liquid is rising up before hitting the top and then slowly sinking back down again in a never-ending cycle of movement. That probably draws your eye the quickest. That's the most standout. The liquid is pure white, not milky white, pure white. Not translucent either. Not transparent either. Completely opaque white. It's a very weird effect as it moves through. And then as it passes through, heading back down again, it's black as it comes out in the lower section, before it spins around and back up again, and as it passes through the stem, back to white again.
What?
Crazy. The rest of the bottles that he reaches for are a much more normal, much more familiar wine bottle-shaped appearance. These ones aren't made from glass, they're made from clay, with large handles on the side and a massive cork shoved in the top. He sort of like looks around. The labels are written in Draconic, so anyone who speaks Draconic, which is all of you, I've just realized, the labels which are written in Draconic name the wine as either a sapphire, ruby, emerald, or another designation which he has given amber, which you've got no idea what that means. And the ambers are all sorts of ones. The hourglass one is designated as an amber wine. And he's sort of going through, and then the year is there as well. There's a date and a year. And then there's also what looks to be a series of tasting notes down the side, a series of like flavors. And he's just like going through and checking. He's like turns around and goes,
Flavor. One flavor from each of you. Business snake.
Berry.
Berry. Beautiful dichromatic dragon.
I don't know. The same.
Berry. Mechanical. I will deal with you, mechanical. Elf.
Do you have something like cocoa, perhaps? Chocolatey?
Oh, that sounds good too.
Cacao.
Cacao, yes. That's the one.
Cacao. You ask a tricky question. I will get back to you. Ataliacanos, my sweet.
she looks and goes, cloves.
Cloves?
Cloves.
You sure?
Yeah, I want to see you make something nice with cloves.
Oh, you have clearly gotten too used to these things. I will have to find something for you too. Okay. Very, very simple, mechanical. I will deal with you, mechanical. Then elf, cow, and then cloves. Okay. Berries first, and then I will be back. I will have to go to the cellar.
He pulls out a bottle from one of the lower shelves, reaches over, uncorks it, and then pours it into 2 small wine glasses that he hands over. He does not pour a huge amount. He pours a very reasonable tasting, about 2 or 3 sips. passes over the glasses, beautifully spiraling, almost double helix spiral glasses in the stem, and then the spirals turn out into two different sections of the glass. The glass is actually divided in half, and it forms two different glasses built into the same thing, and he's only filled one half. I think it's designed specifically for tasting two different wines using the same glass. Passes it over to you two, and then quickly runs away, scurries away, almost like for 2 meter tall green sort of half dragon draconic form. He looks excited and giddy, and then as he gets to the door, he like skids to a halt, turns around. You do not taste while I am not in room.
Yeah. No, we will wait.
Gives a nod and a big smile, and then scurries away again really, really quickly. Elia turns and looks and goes, "Oh, that smells divine." And Shana and Mira, you are close enough. The wine, a very rich, almost blackberry-esque scent is rising from this glass. The wine itself is a very rich purple blue, completely crystal clear. As you look through and you sort of give it a bit of a swirl, you can see that it is completely clear. But this beautiful, almost lavender color liquid swirls around the glass and leaves this little tannin residue, or oil residue around the glass. After only a few moments, you hear the sound of clawed feet as Bacchus rushes back into the room clutching two bottles. One is tiny. In his hands, it looks to be, maybe 120 mils. It's very small, this tiny little bottle. The other is a bit larger and is a glass bottle filled with this dark brown liquid sloshing about inside of it as he rushes in. He goes, "Ha! Cacao! I had one aging. It was due for tasting in a year or two, so you can taste now, see how it is developing." And then he looks over at Elia. Elia just sort of smiles and shrugs. "And me?" "I have found something for you. 'Tis not wine. 'Tis something different I have been trying. This one has been aging for 2 years. You and I will be first to taste it. I have another one down there that has been aging for 6 months. I was not sure whether to age for longer or shorter. You and I will be the judge of that now." He uncorks the larger brown bottle, pours out some liquid for you, Yervith, uncorks the smaller one, tiny thimbleful full of this beautiful honey-like liquid. And then he reaches into his pocket and pulls out, Lockie, what looks to be a disc made of a mixture of a silver metal and then a copper-like coloured metal. And then he hands it to you.
Oh, this looks quite fun. What does it do?
Plug it into your sensory matrix information center.
Oh, yeah.
Lockie, as if you put anything on that plate, as it plugs in and clicks in, a section of it opens up and then integrates into your system.
So like a CD drive.
like a CD drive. It installs taste.exe. As you plug it in, Lockie, there's this whirring from inside, and then the drive pushes itself back out again and opens up. And inside of it, you can see a small strip of metal foil.
Now you place in mouth. Open.
Oh, I will wait for everybody.
No. You can do now. You go first.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Don't wait for us.
Lockie, can you roll me a D100, please?
Shit.
Birdie bots every flavor beans, but it's with Lockie. What's Lockie gonna taste today? Is it vomit? Is it honey? Is it poo? 63. Cinnamon! Lockie.
Oh.
Cinnamon.
Oh, that's a good one.
Taste of cinnamon.
It's Gameldansk. Woohoo!
What's that?
Gameldansk. It's that Danish cinnamon liqueur.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Exactly right. Yeah, Lockie. The silver foil, some connection between the drive that's been inserted into your sensory matrix and then this has created a bit of a short circuit between a number of your systems. And you are now interpreting sensory information, the light sensory information, as taste as well. You are getting basically a deliberately enacted synesthesia. And the lighting in here is taste. Is cinnamon, is the flavor of cinnamon.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
That's sick.
The foil immediately begins smoking and burning as it is a conduit for quite a large amount of energy burning through it. As the foil begins to burn away, Lockie, the flavor begins to fade very slowly. But you've got a good sort of 5 minutes or so with this flavor.
Lockie's smoking. He holds up his he holds up his mace. He holds up his mace and twists the bottom, and then casts the light on it, and just like.
As you change the lighting, Lockie, I'm gonna let you roll on a D100 if you like.
Ooh.
He's high as fuck.
Yeah. So
Lockie's tripping out.
100, 40.
40.
Oh wow. Okay. Lockie, you taste the rich taste of wine. 40 is wine. This strong grape flavor, beautiful wine flavor fills your mouth as you taste wine. It's amazing. Could not make that shit up.
Wow.
41 was mayonnaise.
Bacchus, we need to include these things as part of our business deal.
Yes, of course. Are these things you don't have access to?
Lockie's just, for podcast listeners, Lockie's just like bent over backwards, like shining the light from his mace into his face.
Surely your Warforged have things like this back in Oxenfurt?
I would have assumed so, except Lockie doesn't seem to have experienced this before, Lockie?
No, this is amazing. I can't describe it. It's like, I don't know. It's what I imagine a fruit would taste like.
I'm gonna say that Bacchus doesn't know either. Just this big grin splits his face. He's like,
And another person experiences joy and merriment. Excellent.
He's experiencing something there. Yeah.
Very well, drink. Come.
Yes, cheers.
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 We'll do Yervith first. Yervith, the rich taste of cocoa fills your mouth. This very dark, smooth chocolate with a strong kick. As you sort of drink it down, the smoothness and chocolate and sweetness covers your tongue first, and then as it sort of falls to the back of your palate, a bit of heat starts coming in, and then as you swallow and breathe in, there's quite a bit of heat there as you realize, oh, this is pretty alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you drink down this very rich chocolate, and it's almost a bit creamy in a way. Rather than being a wine, it's a much more creamy, almost like a liqueur.
Yeah.
But yeah, very rich chocolate liqueur. Mira and Shana, as you drink the berry wine, yeah, I mean, very strong blackberry and raspberry flavors with sort of an after finish of strawberry. As it sort of passes through the back, you get this very nice rich strawberry. Not too sweet, actually more of a drier wine, just with a hint of sweetness, enough to bring out the berry flavors, but a bit of a drier wine. And yeah, really nice. Like, this is good wine. You think like to purchase a bottle of this at a restaurant in Oxenfurt or in Palin, especially in Palin where the markup's going to be a bit more, you're looking at a couple of gold per bottle. You're thinking a crate of these, a crate which is 18 bottles of wine for 20 gold. You're thinking, okay, shit, like this actually is not a bad. This is not if it's all this quality, you could easily sell it for quite a bit of profit there. You're selling it for 2 or 3 gold per bottle.
Especially if we can get a slightly better deal for exclusive dealing rights and perhaps his own bar with his name on it. Make it more profitable for both of us.
As he and Elia both sip the cloves, Elia makes a bit of a face, and goes, "Oh, wow, okay, yeah, I'm getting the cloves."
Me too.
Yeah. Bit harsh still, isn't it?
Yes, still a bit of green to it. I think another 2 or 3 years.
Yes, I think so. That's wow, that is it's a bit rough, isn't it?
Well, you asked for cloves. I give you what you want. Now you complain. Italianos.
No, I'm very grateful.
I kid. Well, what do you think?
Happy?
Oh, yes. This is delightful. Smooth, but strong at the same time. I like it.
Yes, I sometimes like to sip that before bed if I have trouble sleeping.
Ah, I can see why.
Well,
I think this could be the start of a beautiful business dealing and friendship.
Indeed. Well, here at the Spring Valley Wines, we have access to the finest water in all of Ciari. We have our own well. Like other places, you have to rely on the water from the city. And by the time it gets out of the city, it's not good quality. Minerals stripped. No good, no good. You need fresh spring water.
That's perfect.
I couldn't help but notice that bottle back there, Bacchus. That's an hourglass one.
You have a good eye, yes. It is hard not to notice, yeah?
Been looking at it for quite a while. It's quite mesmerizing, isn't it?
Yes.
Never seen anything like that before.
Oh, neither had I when I bought it. I did not make this one. This is display only. I bought it a very long time ago from an old friend. He claimed that it was, well, finest brew to ever exist. But he did caution me not to drink it. So I keep it there to look at.
Schrodinger's wine.
I've been saving it for my dying day. It will be the last thing I sip before I die.
Huh.
That makes sense.
Interesting.
All this glassware and the bottles, do you make it, Bacchus, or do you import it from somewhere?
That is my brother. Yeah, he creates it himself. He is I was about to say accomplished glassblower. But he is not. He is shit.
I mean, what he makes is beautiful. Is it all accidental design, perhaps?
There is no logic. Look at this. This wine bottle looks upside down.
And he points to one. You can see the stem is huge. A massive cork has to be fitted to the top. And then it tapers downwards. It's upside down. He points and goes,
Who would buy this? How can you pour this? So stupid.
Difficulty.
With the right holder. I mean, it could be a wonderful point of difference to the other, standard wine bottle shapes and clay pots.
I have had to build special stand just to keep it upright. You see, it's like a wooden beam.
And the mixed glasses, are they also of his design?
Yes, the glasses are his too. He is better at glasses. Bottles should be easier. Go figure.
I was just about to say that. I thought... Never mind. I would argue with that.
He is asthmatic. He runs out of air for the big ore.
You must really love your brother to...
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I would like to have it in the pub.
I'm clipping that. It's canon now. Sorry. It's one of those times when my mouth is saying things and my brain's catching up. When you throw yourself into a character so completely that you are that character.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It doesn't matter if it's true or not. He would say that because it's funny.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's magic. He runs out of air partway through.
An asthmatic dragonborn. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Dragon. He's an asthmatic dragon.
Please tell me he's not red.
No. No.
Wow. It's amazing.
It is a source of great disappointment in our family. Brings much disappointment.
Such tiny glasses.
Yes.
Bacchus, you turn it into a positive. Turn it into a point of difference that no one else has, perhaps because no one else would think or be able to make it, and partially because no one would probably want to, but I think I like them. We could be that bar with the eclectic bottles.
It's hard to make a set. That is sure.
Not a matching one in sight. Every bottle unique. You'll never get the same one twice.
That's true. And does add an air of uniqueness, speciality.
Exactly.
Maybe there is market for this.
It's all about how you spin it, you see.
Is his brother? Say it out loud, Claire. Say it out loud for the podcast.
Is his brother's name Ventolin?
It is now.
Oh man.
My brother's pseudo-ephedrine.
Fucking such a mid joke now. Going through this territory.
Yes,
Wow.
my brother Ventolin.
For those of you from other countries who might not know, Ventolin is an anti-asthmatic medication. So,
Wow.
oh boy, with the Serentide chaser, nice. Oh my god.
That's the
Yes,
sister.
Perhaps we could load some crates of glasses too. You could buy some glasses.
So, I think so.
I get them for free, so I will not charge.
Well, I very much appreciate it. I think this could work very nicely for us.
With that, Elias sort of nods and goes,
Well, thank you so much again, Bacchus. We better head to Velux, sir, but we will be back, absolutely. And I have potentially had a bit of an idea about maybe hosting some sort of event here. If we needed to schmooze with some politicians, get some politicians on side, could we potentially use your winery as a venue? And obviously, I will cover the cost of any drinks. I'll do a tab.
This is a good idea. We have just finished building a new section, a new gazebo. Maybe we could host something there.
Yes, okay, great. That'd be fantastic.
We don't have the floor yet, but we will have floor by Tuesday.
Oh, it is Tuesday, Bacchus.
Is it? We will have floor sometime soon. Floor will be obtained. You can stand on it soon.
Okay.
I can help with mold earth if it helps speed up the process for you for the event, should we need it.
We can try out the cactus juice then too.
No, I don't think that's a good idea. No.
That's a wonderful idea. I mean, not for us, but perhaps for the ones that we're trying to smooth.
Another
I
time.
mean, the
Then.
poison. Ones we're trying to poison.
Ugh.
I will do what I normally do. I will offer it as cheap to uni students, and then they come and they test things for me.
On Tuesdays, yes.
Mira, you have a sudden flashback. This place looks familiar. You've been here before. When you were studying, one of the pub crawls came out this way. And you have been here. You have drunk his... something about him was familiar. Suddenly it comes rushing back. One of the bar crawls, one of the tavern crawls you and your political science students did, so your fellow science students did, was out here. You got a bit lost, but you made it, and yeah, you don't remember much of that night, but suddenly you're like, oh, I think I've been here. That's why this looks so familiar.
I remember students, you say?
Yes.
Yeah. I think I've lost a lot of money here.
No refunds.
It's okay, I wouldn't remember how much I spent anyway. But that's
Wonderful. My favorite type of customer.
Yep, that would be Mira. Yeah.
With that, Elias sort of stands and gives you guys a bit of a look.
We won't take up any more of your time, Bacchus. Thank you so much. We'll be back. We'll talk to you soon. I'll send a messenger if we need to use this place for a venue, and we will see you real soon. And the people on the ship, I know they've got some supplies, but potentially if they need some food or drink, you could help out with that too. Again, pass on any costs to me. I can handle it.
Any costs, you say? Finest caviar from the kitchens tonight, my friends.
Within reason, Bacchus, within reason.
It has been so long since we threw a feast.
Why don't we throw a feast on the night we all leave, hey?
Gives a pause and looks.
Perhaps we try that cactus juice.
You've got time to organize. I will do this. You will try Plains Beast. Delicious.
That sounds ominous.
Sounds
Delicious.
Great.
Mira, you would know what a plains beast is. Imagine a giant cow with 6 legs, covered in scaly armor and massive digging claws like a mole.
You know what? Sounds great. Yeah.
It is quite nice, spit roasted.
Yeah, okay.
No, it is good. It is good.
That's gonna be
Plains
a
beast
really
is-
big spit roast.
Yeah, it
Owen
is
said that very
dragon.
matter of fact, like he's actually had Plains Beast before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have. I live in this world. This isn't. We're not making this story up. I'm just recounting what happened when. No.
Oh.
When we say
Cool.
this is canon, we mean this is canon. This actually. Yeah. Elias sort of like starts walking out the door and being like, "Come on, guys, Bacchus will talk forever."
Right. We'll see you later.
Pleasure
Nice to
meet
meet you, Bacchus.
Lovely to meet you too.
Wonderful man.
All the lights.
Yeah.
Every now and then he does one of his little shocking grass.
Just a list.
By this point, Lockie, unfortunately, the foil has worn off, and as you go to do it,
Ah,
happens. I'm sorry.
we will come back.
We will wrap up there because I realized we've gone a little bit over. I was planning to do a slightly shorter session without Jin, and then Bacchus happened.
Yeah.
So,
It was great there.
that was a completely improvised character and setting, and it's one of the best things I've ever done in my entire life.
Incredible.
I think I was just channeling someone. I don't like some old Greek man living on a vineyard. Just, you bring your business snake. Great. Oh man, I don't know.
So many quotable moments. That was amazing.
Yeah,
So good.
I've lots of clips.
He's definitely one of my favorites.
I've got some stuff I can chuck up on on TikTok tomorrow.
And then a D100 for Lockie to roll a wine. As one of the flavors at a winery.
I was so
One of the
impressed.
Mayonnaise by one.
Oh my god, that was
so
amazing.
100, just for context, just so you know what 100. Although he's gonna do it again. No, I'm gonna wait just in case you get a 100.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Okay. Yep.
Remind me.
I
if
can
you get
imagine
a
Lockie
100
coming
next
back and just being like, I want all of that. Please.
Oh, he's done that. Oh, yeah.
time. 100's the wish spell, but you only taste it.
Whatever
I
it
want
might
to
be.
tell you. I want to tell you what it is because it's really funny.
Do
I'm
it.
gonna tell you.
Yeah.
You taste the rainbow.
Oh.
Wow.
Ah, yes.
Oh.
Wow.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. That was a amazing session. Not at all what I had planned, but better.
Incredible.
Infinitely better.
Yeah.
So much better. I think Jared's gonna be sad he missed this one.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we will be back again next time. Stay safe, stay well. We will see you all again next time. Avatar Legends tomorrow night. Until then, we will see you then. Goodbye, everybody. Farewell.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Oh.